Hey, hey, hey. I am live on YouTube. And the reason why I'm going live on YouTube is because um, they'll most likely delete my YouTube page because they're shutting everybody down right now. They're shutting everybody down. So I'm live on YouTube right now. They capped my following on YouTube years ago. I cannot get past 7,000. I've been sitting at 7,000 followers for years, despite the fact of having viral videos with millions of views on other platforms. YouTube just locked me. So my bet right now is that they will shut me down probably after this live because I'm going to say what I'm really thinking. But hopefully I have time to say what I'm thinking and then upload this to Rumble. I'm going to be doing most of my videos, most of my commentary on Rumble. I'm hearing that they're going to be getting a live feature. And if they get a live feature, then we're set because I'll just, hey, I started with, oh, thank you, Matt. That's so sweet. Thank you for the donation. I started with no following. Okay. And I reached about 200,000 followers on Facebook. But it's just a matter of time before I wake up and that page is going to be gone too. So, I can do it again because of the grace of God and because of favor from him. So, starting over. Starting over on platforms that allow me to talk freely. So if you are following me on YouTube, I really encourage you to go like my Rumble page and follow me on MeWe. I'm also over there, MeWe, Rumble, and Parler. So those are like 3 platforms right now that they're letting people talk and share a viewpoint other than what the state-run big tech has decided we can talk about. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe that here in America, I can't believe we're here. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is something you read about, like in the Bible, Revelations, Isaiah talks about it, and you're like, yeah, okay, like that's for, but it's happening, and we're seeing a total clamp down on free speech. They just deleted General Michael Flynn on Twitter. Okay, this is a guy that has defended and served our country for years, and they just deleted his Twitter account. They deleted the walk away, the whole page on. I think Brandon Straka had like 500,000 followers on Facebook, and they just took away his walk away page. So they're coming hard, man. They're coming in hot. But you know what? God wins. That's something we have to remember because right now all hell is breaking loose. But God wins. God wins. And I'm going to be real with you. On January 6th, like I was a mess. I was a total mess. I was a wreck. I was like, God, what is going on? I cried. I was like, I was exhausted from that day. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. It was, watching what happened in Georgia, which, oh gosh, total, another steal. God, another freaking steal. But that's what happens when you don't fix the broken system. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you keep doing the same thing and you expect different results, you're crazy. So if you don't fix the broken system, it's going to continue being broken. And our voting system is broken. It's broken. Okay. So I kind of expected that to happen in Georgia, actually. It's amazing how Loeffler, or whatever her face is, how she turned on Trump on the 6th, voted to not object. Which really pisses me off because I gave money to her campaign. Total waste of money. I'd like that back. I've got a lot to think about, guys. We've got a lot to think about, especially with the GOP. The GOP is in a position right now where we've got the old establishment guard that are never Trumpers. They're anti-Trump. They kind of want to go back to the way it was, and the whole whole reason the GOP grew and Trump won is because we brought in people that never voted Republican. Okay, so you're an idiot if you think, oh, we're going to go back to the old way the GOP was. Not going to happen. So either the GOP realizes that, embraces the MAGA movement, and we grow from there, or we're going to see a split straight up. So, and if the GOP splits from MAGA voters, I'm no longer going to be part of the GOP. I am strong Trump. And I just want to say this as well. I am a proud Trump supporter. Okay. Regardless of what happened at the Capitol, I am a proud Trump supporter. I believe in the movement. I have been part of that movement since he came down the escalator. I'm in this, man. I'm in this because I believe in freedom. I believe in individual liberty. I believe in a sovereign nation. I don't believe in globalism. I'm a completely and vehemently opposed to it. So, and I want to go into, let's go into what happened at the Capitol on the 6th. Over 1 million people were there. My sister was on the ground sending pictures. It was nuts. Thank you for the donation, Donnie. You're awesome. Awesome. That means so much. Just so you guys know, like they've on Facebook, they've completely capped anyone's new support. I can't receive any new support from anybody. So, but God's going to provide. So I'm not going to get everything that Satan has stolen right now, guys. Everything that you're seeing happening, it's going to be turned for good. I'm fully and 100% confident in that. I know that. I rest assured. I honestly, there's a peace amidst all the like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. And there's this underlying peace. Know that. And it's because of my relationship with God and Jesus. So, okay, so let's go into it. So 1 million people are at this event. It's huge, huge support. My sister's on the ground. She's sending pictures, sending video. It's like a sea of people. We're talking millions and millions of people showing up to show support for President Trump. They're believing that this election was fraudulently stolen. They don't believe that Biden is truly elected. He wasn't elected. Okay. So Trump won. Trump won. And anyone that's like, no, yeah, he did win. And if you take the time to look at the evidence, there's so much evidence. Okay. I sat there and listened to Pennsylvania hearings, Arizona hearings, Georgia hearings, Wisconsin hearings, all of it. I listened to the United States Postal Service talk about it. There's stuff developing right now behind the scenes, guys, with Italy. Like it was stolen. Okay, it was stolen. Biden is illegitimate, straight up. So there's people going to support the president, and he gives a wonderful speech. Everything goes great. And then I truly believe after watching video, because this is the thing that liberals won't do. They don't want to seek the truth. They don't want to know the truth. As long as it coincides with their narrative and what they think and what they want to believe, they won't look at anything presented to them. Okay, I watched video. Antifa was mixed in with the MAGA crowd, and they were dressed as Trump supporters, and they show up, right? They show up. I even posted a video on my Rumble so the MAGA crowd is here. You guys probably have seen this. It's viral. And Antifa moves to the front, right? They're in Trump gear, but they're wearing helmets. Okay, Trump supporters don't wear helmets, okay? We don't carry clubs, okay? So they show up and they start banging to get into the Capitol, everything like that. Then we see video of police officers opening up gates to let the people in. So if you're a MAGA supporter, right, and you see a police officer saying, hey, no, come on in, they're actually waving people in. So you see people like being waved in and you're like, okay, well, I guess we'll go up. That's what happened to a lot of MAGA supporters. They didn't storm the Capitol, and the people that did that were Antifa. And the guy with the horns, okay, that everyone's talking about. He's a Q guy, okay? And I'm sure he does support the president, but he was mixed in with the Antifa crowd. I think it happened on accident. So he's photographed in a lot of these things, and people are like, oh my gosh, no, he's MAGA. But he's like literally standing next to people that have like like communism symbols on they're tattooed on them. So I think that he literally was in like he went along with the crowd, and then he's like with Antifa, not knowing it because it was chaotic. In the midst of that, a woman is shot and killed. I'm not going to go into details on what I think about that, but a woman was shot and killed. Absolutely horrible. And we just found out that a police officer died. Okay. So terrible, terrible situation. I believe that they wanted this to happen. These are my thoughts. These are my thoughts. Okay. So, some people that are like, oh, I'm allowed to share my opinion. That's what I do. After looking at the video, multiple videos, after seeing Antifa showed up there, after seeing how several police officers literally opened up the gates, let the people in, waved them in, I believe that this was a setup. I believe they wanted this to happen. And the reason why they wanted this to happen is because the narrative up until this point was, oh my gosh, they stole the election. This election's been stolen. We're going to object to it. We're going to say no more. We're going to take a stance. We the people are going to have a say in this. And so, the whole thing was we were watching, the electors were starting to count the votes, right? And then we were going to hear like this presentation of like evidence and what happened and why we're objecting. But all of that got shut out the minute the Capitol was stormed. All of it. Just gone. So the narrative, instead of, yeah, there's people objecting to the votes. Why are they objecting? Okay, let's listen to why. And people that start to maybe possibly on the fence start to listen. All of that got shut down. All of it. All of it disappeared the minute the Capitol was stormed. And the Capitol was stormed because the gates were open. The doors of the Capitol were actually opened. And Antifa was there. Okay. Antifa was there to do their job. That's what they do. So that's what I think happened. Those are my thoughts. Also, to the outraged people that are like, oh my gosh, it's just the terribleness that happened to the Capitol. Shouldn't have happened. Okay, I completely condemn violence. Any kind of violence, you're not going to get your point across. So people stop listening. They immediately start getting scared and they stop listening. If you're trying to prove your point through violence, it doesn't work that way. So I condemn violence, just to be clear. But we sat over the summer, Trump supporters, and we watched Black Lives Matter and Antifa tear our country apart, literally burn cities to the ground, destroy buildings. And the media was like, but now we have people storm the Capitol because they were welcomed in to storm it. And oh my gosh, it's time to impeach Trump. It's just terrible. Let's talk about that. Now they're talking about impeaching Trump. Why? Pelosi, as I speak right now, is drafting articles of impeachment. Okay. Why would you try to impeach a president? Like when he's supposedly leaving in like 2 weeks? Or why would you call for the 25th Amendment when your president is supposedly leaving in less than 2 weeks? Why would you do that? First of all, you do that because you don't want any information declassified. Trump has all the goods on all these people, all of it. He knows the dark, deep depths of hell that Washington, D.C. is, right? And he's got all the goods. And I pray to God he declassifies. But also, I think that they think something could be happening, something that would steal power from them. And I think that this fear that they're pushing right now is a panic, right? You don't panic if you think someone's out the door. You don't panic. So keep an eye on that. Okay. Also, I want to talk about Trump's video. I'm not going to take too much time. I tend to ramble, guys. Okay. So Trump's video. First of all, he let out a video. Was it last night? It was last night. Was it last night? I think it was last night. Thank you again for the donation. ETN. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, okay. So Trump puts out a video. People are like, oh my gosh, Trump conceded. So he didn't concede. He's never going to concede. It's not going to happen. You don't concede to a lie. You don't concede to a fake presidency. You don't concede to that. To concede means that okay, I will never concede as an American citizen to a fake, false presidency that was won by cheating. Straight up cheating. I will we all of us, we don't concede. You don't concede to lies. And that's what this is. This is a giant lie on display right now. It's a lie. It is a fraud. Okay. So he didn't concede. There's no mention of concession. There's no mention of Joe Biden in the video. Okay. He said that he's not attending the inauguration and he should not attend the inauguration. You would never, if you don't believe in something, you don't partake in it. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I 100% am behind that decision. 100%. You would never partake in something that is foul and an evil. It's an evil. What is happening is evil. You don't partake in that. You don't acknowledge it. You have no part in it. You don't take place in it. You don't partake in it. No. So go Trump on that. What else do I have to say? Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon because the reason why I'm getting on here right now is because a lot of people have been writing me and they're like, oh my gosh, Rachel, like you just gone silent, you just got dark. First of all, lots going on here on the mom side of things. All my kids were home this last week. So I've been doing like online learning with them, and then all this stuff happened. And of course, it's been emotional. So I've had to process a lot of it because I'm just going to be real with you guys. And but this is what I think so far. Like you guys said, my thoughts on the Capitol, the storming of the Capitol, my real thoughts on that. And what I think behind Trump's video. Notice that the things that you did not see in that video: no concession, no mention of Biden. He's not attending the inauguration, and you never concede to a lie. Never concede to a lie. Okay, so people are like, well, what does all this mean, right? What does all this mean? Okay, so I still, because I'm a person of faith, I'm still standing and believing for a miracle. Now, go ahead for people, and I know a lot of people follow me. They're like, Rachel, I'm not a Christian, and Rachel, I don't believe in God. So, and I love you people, and that's fine, okay? But I am a person of faith, and I do believe that what God has promised will come to pass, okay? And I do have faith in people that are Christians and walk tightly with God, that have heard from God, and they have heard that Trump will have 8 years. He'll serve 2 terms. So I stand with that, and I support that, and I believe that, and I've been praying and believing God for it. We are not at the Red Sea moment until right now, right? We've always kind of had like a hope. There's always been like, well, maybe they won't certify on December 14th. Like maybe the electors, maybe something will happen there. Okay, maybe we'll win Georgia. Maybe we'll win Georgia. And then, okay, maybe something will happen on the 6th and it'll stop. We always had kind of like an option, right? Right now, there's nothing. There's no options. There's nothing that's like, yeah, we could still have a Hail Mary. Nothing. We are at the sea. This is the Red Sea in front of us, and it looks terrible, okay? And we're there. So what I've said to people is, and people are like, well, that's just crazy, like just accept it. Oh my gosh, you're just crazy. Just accept it. Just accept it. This is where I stand. I would rather be defeated standing in faith than concede to something that directly opposes the will of God. That's where I stand. I will go out defending and standing and believing in faith before I ever concede to something that I know directly opposes the will of God. That's where I stand. And people say, well, what is, the will of God? How do you know what the will of God is? The will of God, the will of God if you know the word of God, right? I know the word of God. I know that God believes in life in the womb. Jeremiah 1:5, he knew us before he formed us, right? We are a spirit. We have a soul and we live in a body. Democrats are slaughtering babies in the womb. That's not the will of God, right? The will of God is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Democrats don't want freedom. They want to control you. They want to suppress you. They want to tell you how you can talk, where your kids can go to school, how many guns you can have, what you can say. They're all about control. That directly opposes the will of God. The will of God is freedom. Freedom. If you see anything that's opposing freedom, it's not of God. And sin actually opposes freedom because you're not truly liberated if you're living in sin. You're actually enslaved. So anything that enslaves or holds you back from true, incredible freedom is not the will of God. It's not the will of God that Biden would be president. That's not his will. It's not his will. It was not God's will that Hitler take over Germany. It wasn't God's will that Stalin and Lenin and all those crazies over there in the USSR, that wasn't his will, right? It wasn't God's will that the Holocaust ever happened. The Bible says that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And if you see these things, if you see things being stolen, you're free. Your free speech, your gun rights, the ability to say no to a vaccination that they want to force in your body. Anything that tries to steal your freedom is not of God. Steal, kill, and destroy. Okay? They're destroying our rights right in front of us. It's not the will of God. Okay? It's not God's will that Biden be president. Now, what God wills and what is allowed are completely different. What God wills and what God allows are completely different. And I always bring up this example because people are like, I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, so I have an 8-year-old son. He's going to be 9. But let's say, he's getting ready to, he's older now. Let's just go fast forward in the future. And I'm like, Bodie, hey, you want to take he's at the point where he's learning to drive. Okay, 16, 17. And I'm like, you can take the car. I'm going to allow Bodie to go drive my car, right? Now, I'm allowing him to take the car and go drive it. My will is that he return to me safely. That is my will. So what is allowed and what is willed are not the same. And it needs to be very clear for Christians, because a lot of people are like, well, this is God's will. No, it's not. He's allowed this, but that's not his will. And that's where I stand on this whole thing. I'm still standing and believing for a miracle. And like I said, I will go out standing because I know God's will, right? So, and often what he wills doesn't come into play because people have chosen against his will. In Hosea, what is it? I have this verse because people are like, well, God always sets up rulers. And so that's not true. That's not biblical. Okay. I know you're people that come at me, they're referring to Romans 13, but, throughout the Bible, rulers have been placed that were not God's will. And I think it's a Hosea. Gosh, what is it? Hosea 8:4. They set up kings without my consent. They choose princes without my approval. Okay? Because we have the ability to choose and do what we want to do, right? God's not going to force himself. God's a gentleman. He's not going to come and force himself on America. His will is that we choose a president that protects the unborn, that protects religious liberty. That's his will. But if the American people don't choose that, then it is what it is, right? But I believe we did choose that. I really do. I believe that we did choose that, and this is being stolen and it's fraudulent. And I'm believing that truth is going to come out, man. I'm going to believe God that all this crap that people think that they've got away with, all this darkness, I'm believing, I'm contending, I'm praying for a revelation and a complete reveal of this evil that's been perpetrated on America. And so that's where I stand on that, guys. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that are going on. I don't know if you guys have seen the Marina Zach video. I probably shouldn't even say that, but I know YouTube took it off. Maybe I actually know a person that works kind of with her team. So I told them, hey, have her put this stuff on Rumble, and that way it won't be deleted. Marina Zach is working behind the scenes. She supposedly has a sworn affidavit from somebody in Italy that has said, we stole your election. And if you really study it, the CCP is pretty much owns Italy. So it's all connected. It's all intertwined. We'll see if there's anything comes into play from that or not. I don't know. I don't know. But I know that what has been hidden will be brought to light. I do know that because my faith kicks in, and I just got to believe God that his words are true, and we will see victory. I don't know the timeline. People are like, is it before or after the 20th, Rachel? I don't know. But I'm believing God for a miracle. Okay. So, and this is something that for moms and dads out there, that it's a lot, right? If you look at it all and you're like, oh my gosh, it's overwhelming. Like it's too much. You're like, oh my gosh. Cause then you're like, you start to spiral. You do. You start to spiral. You start to be like, well, if they take over, then this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and oh my gosh, and then before you know it, I'm going to have to get this, and I can't travel, and if I can't travel, then oh my God, it's nuts. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. And you got to shut all that out. Shut it out. Shut it out. Get alone with God. Be still. And focus on what you can control, right? Focus on what you can control. I can control myself. I can control my little kids for now. I know at some point that I won't be able to control them. Once they're teenagers, you do what you can, right? You pray over them. You speak life over them, and you pray that they turn out to be good people. But at some point, I won't be able to control them, right? So you got to come back to what you can control, what you can have a say in, and it becomes a lot smaller, doesn't it? It becomes a lot smaller, because when I look at Washington, D.C., I'm like, that place is a mess. We're talking full-on mess in D.C. The only way that thing can get cleaned out is if you were to drain the entire swamp, get rid of all lobbyists, all big corporations controlling the lobbyists, send in like garbage men and farmers and some teachers that are conservative, and start how our founding fathers intended it to be. Term limit everybody, single issue bills. That's the only way that could be fixed, right? And I don't see that happening. I don't. Maybe it will, but I don't see that happening in the near future. Maybe down the road if we have some kind of revolution or something. So I'm like, okay, I can focus on that. Well, what can I focus on? I can focus on my neighborhood. I can focus on my small community around me. I could run for school board. I mean, I'm thinking about doing stuff that's more localized, because that's stuff I can really have control over and have a say in. And so I just encourage you guys, just get along with God, and then also think about what you can do to control, or not necessarily control, but to have a say in what's your circle, in your small circle that you're in. And if you can stabilize that circle, then you'll have even more peace if you incorporate God into that circle with you, and he'll guide you in what he wants you to do. Or maybe you run for town council, or you run for school board, or you become a state house rep or a state Senate rep. I don't know, but it needs to be condensed, because it's too much and it's overwhelming. If you look at the bigger picture, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't. And that happened to me on the 6th. I was like, this is nuts. And I don't know how to fix it. And my husband's like, you can't fix it. Like, Rachel, you can't fix it. And he's right. Like, I can't fix it. God can fix it. But I need to bring it back about where I can influence, right? And so that's kind of what I wanted to say to you guys. So I took a drink right at an awkward time. I'm like, and let's have a sip, because I got a little tick in my throat. But that's pretty much what I want to say. Those are my thoughts for those people that have been writing me like, where are you? Rachel, we need you to say something. What are you thinking? Those are my thoughts. In under 30 minutes, that's where I'm at right now in this moment. Still believing for a miracle. I'll go out believing for a miracle. That's just how I'm designed. And get along with God. Get along with God, and trim down all the crazy and just bring it to your center right here. And where can you influence? And if you begin to start to, maybe it's your next door neighbor, right? You just start a conversation. You're like, hey, I don't know, just start simple and go from there. And who knows where God will lead you after that. But that's it. That's it, guys. I just want to say God bless you all. I'm so thankful for you. I did a live on here a while again without my producer, Rob. And I ended the stream, and then it said I kept streaming. So somebody's like, you've been streaming for like 2 days. And I'm like, what? So I'm going to end this stream, but if it looks like I'm still on or something like that, I might have to call Rob, because I don't know what else I do after that. So, all right, you guys, what are you guys saying here? Oh, Lady Against Tyranny. Bless you. Bless you. And good people do not understand history or human nature. Yes, Italy. Hashtags. Keep an eye on Italy, guys. There's stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be some, like get you on a rabbit trail or false hope. That's not who I am. But I clearly believe that fraud took place, and I believe it's going to be exposed. All right. And goodness and victory will prevail. So press in, press on, believe God for it. Oh, what's this? My sister took the Pfizer vaccine and I cannot even talk to her about these things. 15 years. Yeah, don't get me started on that. There's a lot of thoughts I have on that. We could do that for another time. Let's do that. We can talk vaccine stuff another time because I've got thoughts on that as well. Hey, Brett, thank you so much for the donation. You guys are awesome. It's called something. Is it? Other people are like, hey, I call it a donation. Yes, I am on Rumble. Come over to Rumble. I'm on MeWe, Rumble, and Parler. All right, I'm going to stop just gabbing away. You guys are awesome. God bless you. Press in, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.